Hello, I'm Dr. Hassan Tohid once again with a very interesting topic, research synopsis versus research proposal. Research synopsis versus research proposal. This is a very confusing topic, right? Many students are confused about it. Many scientists are confused about it as well. So let's talk about this. Sometimes they will ask you to submit a proposal. Sometimes they will ask you to submit a synopsis. So what exactly do you do? Now let's talk about this. Step number 1 is proposal. Step number 2 is synopsis. Step number 3 is thesis. So if you remember the sequence, you will never go wrong. So when you are taking admission, let's say you are a student, you are taking admission, the university that you are trying to enroll into may ask you to submit a proposal for your research project if you are taking admission in a doctorate program. If you are planning to do a doctorate degree, then of course you cannot do a doctorate without thesis, right? So the third step is thesis, the ultimate step. So the university may ask you to submit a proposal before admission, and then the admissions committee will look at your proposal. If they like it, they will give you the admission. That's what research proposal is. Once you get admission, now listen to me, this is very important. Before you started your training, the admission, you got your research proposal done. Now you got admission, right? Now you're doing your project already. You have started your project because you already submitted the proposal. Now, once the project is done, now you are working on your thesis at the same time. But before you submit your thesis, you submit a summary of your thesis. That is a synopsis. So that is something we need to understand, that there is a difference. Now, in some countries, both terminologies, proposal and synopsis, are used interchangeably. In some cultures, in some universities. So don't get confused. Always look at where you are. Now, for example, if you are taking admission, you are a new student who is trying to get admission into a doctorate program, and the admissions committee asks you to submit a proposal before you get admission. If they ask you to submit a proposal, that's a proposal. But if they ask you to submit a synopsis at that time, so now you don't get confused at how can I submit a synopsis? I haven't done anything. Don't worry about it. They actually mean proposal. Don't get scared at this time. So before admission, if they ask you to submit a proposal or synopsis, don't get confused. They are actually asking for a proposal. And proposal is your sales script. And we'll talk about that. Now, if you are here, second step, you already have submitted your proposal. Now they ask for synopsis. You complete your project, do your synopsis, write a summary of your thesis, and then submit it, and then submit your thesis after completing it. Now, it is also possible that you get admission before, or I would say you got admission without submitting a proposal. You got admission in your doctorate program at a university. Now they just ask you to submit a synopsis. At this stage, you have already done your project. Now you just need synopsis. Or if IRB approval is still left, is needed, now you write a synopsis, but in a proposal style. So let's talk about this. If you are writing a proposal, a research proposal, what do? You will write it like a script, like a sales script, because you're trying to convince a client to buy your services. That's what you're trying to actually do in a similar fashion. So your proposal letter will have the title, will have the introduction, but here you don't need an abstract. So you have a title, you have the introduction, you have literature review. Will you have method and results? No, because you haven't done anything. If it's a proposal letter, you don't need method and results section because you haven't done anything yet. So you don't know what will be the method, what will be the result. You can just propose that this is my proposed methodology, and these are the things I will need, the tools and techniques I will need, the time I will take to complete this project, and the constraints I will face while doing this project, and how much money I need to do this project. That's what you will write down in the method section. And then do you need a discussion section or results section? No. You don't have results and discussion section yet. You don't know anything yet. If it's a proposal, you just need the money you need, the time you need, the constraints you have in the method section, and the tools and the techniques you will need, and the patience you will need. You just write that information down in the method section. No results, no discussion. Directly you come to the limitations, possible limitations you assume, what limitations you may have, and then the references. And then in the end, you write the abstract down. So that's a usual sequence of a proposal. I'll repeat again. Proposal is written before you start a project, but synopsis is written before you submit a project. That's why they're two different things. Proposal is written before you do your research project to get permission. Synopsis is written or done before you submit your thesis, before you submit your project. So now, if you are a student or you are a scientist, you both may see a situation in your life that you may have to submit a proposal. If you're a student, before admission, the university may ask you to submit a proposal. And now you write the proposal according to the way I mentioned. And if you're a scientist, you may have to submit this proposal to the committee, the seniors, the approval committee, IRB approval, and the funding agencies as well, or the funding resource or funding sources. So what do you do here in the proposal if it's before starting the project? Introduction, but first abstract, introduction, literature review. But before that, title page. So let's do this way. This sequence is better. Title page, abstract, introduction, literature review, then the methodology. The methodology is the very important part of the proposal letter, the proposal, research proposal. You will have the clear idea of what are you going to do, how many patients you will have, what kind of patients you will use. Is it a systematic review project or it's an empirical project with real patients or real population or animals involved? So you will mention that. It depends on each university, what kind of project they accept. Some universities will allow empirical, some universities won't allow empirical. It depends. So always ask your university. Once you have it done, the method section, you also mention the tools and techniques you will need and the money you will need, the funding. Now this is for the scientist. If you are a scientist and looking for funding, you mention how much fund is needed and justify it. How much funding is needed, you justify it, and you mention the challenges, the obstacles you will face while doing this project, the tools and the techniques needed, the population needed, and the money you need. That's the most important thing because you need finances. And by the way, the new students, mostly students in South Asian countries, you don't need to mention this money part here. This is for professors who are writing a proposal. So remember, proposal can be written by the professors and by the students. Students before admission, but professors when they are embarking on a new project. So either way, you write the proposal in the same fashion. Students may skip the finance part, the budget part, but the time, how much time it will need, how much time it will take, and the obstacles. And then what about the discussion and results? You don't need it because you haven't done anything yet. And then the limitation section. Yes, what are the possible limitations you may face because that's the same obstacles. And then the references. And that's how you complete your proposal. And then in the end, write the abstract. That's the proposal. Now, synopsis. How do you write synopsis? Let's do that on this side. Synopsis, you will have the introduction. No need for abstract here. So, but start with title page, introduction, and then you write down your literature review. Once you have your literature review done, the next thing is you write down the method, what you did, and then the results, what did you find? Some summary, because synopsis is a summary. Your real project, you have already done it, and you may already have completed your thesis, but just a summary is being submitted now. So you write a summary of your thesis, and so results will be here. The method will be here, results will be here, then the discussion section will be here. Yes, you bring some discussion section, and then you bring the limitations, and then the references. Or conclusion, you can bring a conclusion as well, and then references, and you finish it. You don't need an abstract here. Or if you want to bring it, there will be no objection, by the way. So this is the situation. Before the project is done, after the project is done. Before the project is done is the proposal. Money is needed. If you are a scientist, you can mention that. Many students don't need that. Most students will not need that, the money part. The professors will need it. Synopsis, you don't need to discuss the money issue here. You just write down the summary of your project. So you have already done method and results section. So method and results section will be here. You just see from your thesis, the book of your thesis, that the 130 pages, that's the average length of a thesis, right? So you just have to summarize it here. Method and results and discussion and conclusion and the references. So your synopsis is done. And if you haven't taken admission yet, you haven't started your project yet, and the university says that please submit a synopsis, don't get scared, don't get confused. They are not asking this synopsis. They're actually calling proposal as synopsis. So don't get confused. So that's it, guys. This is the topic that was a confusion for many students, synopsis versus research proposal. Now I hope I have cleared this confusion. The proposal, I'll repeat again quickly now, proposal is done before the project. Synopsis is done after the project is done, just before submission of your thesis. Now, proposal will mention the money and the time needed. Here, you don't need money and time in the method section. Here, you don't need results and discussion section because you haven't done the project. Here, you do need method and results because you have done the project. You both of them will have references. Now, in some countries, proposal is smaller, synopsis is bigger. But in many places, they both are of equal size, 3,000 words. So usual length is 1,000 to 3,000 words for proposal, but for synopsis, 2,000 to 3,000 words. So synopsis is a little longer because it's a summary of your thesis. So I hope I have cleared this confusion and you have understood it really well, that what is a proposal, what is a synopsis. If you still have confusion, watch this video again and comment below for any questions. I will come back and reply to you if I have the answer. If I don't have the answer, I will find the answer for you. Thank you. Keep learning. Keep watching.